Now, the African Mining Indaba takes place in Cape Town next week. It brings together big mining houses and government to discuss investment and opportunities. But what about the voices of mining-affected communities? Well, a parallel conference is also being held to give them and civil society a platform. The 14th Alternative Mining Indaba meets under the theme A Just Energy Transition, Unlocking Community Potential and Participation. To discuss this further, we are joined by a founding member of the Alternative Mining Indaba, Hassan Lorgat. A very good morning to you, Hassan. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to actually start on that point. The mining communities, their voices being heard, their concerns being addressed. Yes, there is a lot that we want to be talking about in terms of just energy transition, in terms of, the future of mining, but there also is the future of these communities, and a lot of them have been terribly affected by mining in and around their areas. How are you then going to look at, or rather hear their voices and look at addressing their concerns?
This is clearly a difficult point, and thank you for having me. I'd be failing our communities if we don't join you in commemorating this day, the disaster of Lily Mine in Barberton, Mpumalanga, which took place 7 years ago, where 3 mine workers and their families, right, these mine workers, Pritin Kambule, Yvonne Nisi, Solomon Nyirenda, they died underground in what clearly is a very, very dangerous way to earn a livelihood. You are right this morning, this week, to highlight this important day. During that year when they died 7 years ago, I think there were about 73 77 died the year before, 73 died in that year. And the issue of their deaths do not only touch them, but us as civil society activists, but also the communities in which they live. We have often argued, consistently so, that mining communities are disempowered. They do not have a right to sit at the table to negotiate on behalf of the impacts of mining on their lives. So every year we hear how the mining bosses actually celebrate, oh, this year it's slightly better, that this year, 2022, 49 people died, 2021, 74 people died, and it seems that when people meet in Cape Town, the bosses, they talk only of the green light of technology, what mining will bring. Our cabinet ministers, 6 of them will be joining the president to go there because they're afraid that every other minister in the continent will be there, And this is like, if you want to be crude, on one hand, it could be a looters conference, and the other hand, if they apply their mind, it doesn't have to be that way. The ministers from Nigeria, Namibia, Mauritania, Mali, I'm looking at the site. Ibrahim Patel will be there. Barbara Creasy will be there. These people are all there when we need them on the ground to address polluted water, right? The failure to drink water, irregular supplies of water. What mining does to us, they're not visible in action. But they have this belief in their mind that when they go and meet with other people, with venture capitalists, open more mines, dig more holes in the ground, this will bring about a trickle-down effect for the communities. We have yet to see that benefit. So we'll be discussing this at the Mining Indaba.
What are you hoping that the Indaba achieves once it concludes, Hassan? What are you hoping that, you've mentioned all of these people, some of whom you're calling it a looters conference. What are you hoping that, they at least hear, if they do care to listen to what comes out of the Indaba? What are you hoping that they hear from it?
Well, mining, as I've just pointed out, is not a calling. It was brought onto people. They were dispossessed from their lands in many ways in our country. In other countries, when our companies and other conglomerates go there, they find people doing artisanal mining. It is a way of earning livelihoods. But commercial, industrialized mining for mega profits is a dangerous profession. It goes deep down in the earth, and people don't have enough to eat. If the mine closes, then you have zamas. So quite clearly, there are a lot of risks to human beings, and the social ills of mining is what we are supposed to be addressing. We want We want them to take a look that mining is not just one silver bullet that will bring about a trickle-down effect for communities. People have lost in our country. I'm talking about South Africa, but this is an African Mining Indaba. We are the Alternative Mining Indaba. So we have to look at the full continent. But the story is not different. What they do, they dispossess people of their land. They call it relocation. They say to you, you'll be paid out 60,000, 100,000. That is like nothing, right? After a while, this money, they put people in a township type situation, and that they are away from their water supply, their pristine land, and people dig for this elusive material to sell overseas at a higher level. We want them to realize that mining is dangerous. Tailing dams are dangerous. With the extremities of heat and cold, climatic conditions now, we will expect another Jagersfontein disaster. I'm not a scientist. I'm an activist who look at social justice, but I can tell you it will happen. The scientists know this. We want them to address these issues and not to see, our leaders not to see that this is the golden egg, right? This is not the golden egg that will resolve all issues. You are voted in by poor people. You've got to listen to them as well as trying to think ahead. We are in an energy crisis today because our leaders before did not do the things that they're supposed to be doing. Mbeki and others, when they were there, did not invest properly, right? So forward-thinking leadership means more compassionate thinking leadership. We've got to find other ways for a just economy, away from deep mining or even mining of the oceans. We've got to look for other ways that people can earn livelihoods that are sustainable. So this is an exploration, but it starts with a conversation with the poorest, not the wealthiest.
And we can only but hope that those who are in positions of power, in positions of influence and positions of wealth are definitely going to be hearing not only yours as an activist cry, but those of the poor people of whom you speak. Of course, that was the founding member of the Alternative Mining Indaba, Hassan Lorgat.